Good morning, 10:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, December 5th, 2022. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. As we can see, the Dow is down better than 285 points. We've got the DXY up 0.34% to 104.865. We have bounced off of this descending triangle support right now, and even if we get rejected, right now, if we can pass the 105.03, which we hit briefly, but have pushed back down in the last 4-hour segment, we need to come back up, and we could retest 106.20 and possibly the 106.61. If at any time you see us lose this descending triangle support at 104.40 approximately, or depending on if you come down a little bit farther, it could be about 104.22. You'll come down here to about the 102.81. So keep that in mind with the U.S. dollar currency index. We have not had a back test of the broken parabolic spikes that we were having. And since we broke down, we have not back tested this. And I would like to see a back test at, even if it took all the way down to here around 110. So I don't think we're done just yet. Due to this, we've got the U.S. 10-year, anywhere from 2 to 10-year are all at least 10 basis points. Now this is, or 0.95 basis points now because of the 10-year being just under. Up 2.81% to 3.586. So something to watch. Crude oil is up 0.83%. We've got the gold-silver ratio up 2.05%, back up to 79.231. Gold's down 1.26%. As we talked about at the end of last week, I felt like we'd have a retracement to start the week. It's just I had a gut feeling. Now this could stop here and continue up. But I was very clear last week, once we hit this 1800 mark, that I expect a retracement of some sort. We don't know how big it's going to be, and it might just end up being here. But right now, it's rolled down below 1784, so that's a big indicator. We've got silver down 3.28%, so 3 times almost as much as gold. And again, this is another one that I would have felt more comfortable if it hit this uptrend right here at about $20.61. I know that's a far spot down. But a lot of times, and it's not often, or not always, but often, we'll come back down to the true uptrend. You got Fortuna Silver Mines down almost 5% this morning. That would be the biggest hit one this morning. We've got, let's see, platinum down $11.57 or 1.15% at 1,003.32 per ounce. We've got copper down 0.5% down to 3.836 per pound. As we talked about, total crypto market cap's at $812 billion, down 0.29%. And it's still this exact same formation as we've been talking about. We've still held the support. We hit the downtrending support, this little extension. If we break this, if we fail the 200-day, we would come back down here to $749 billion. If we do break up, our next resistance is at about $886 billion. So that's just about $70 billion that we could add to this market cap if we were to break up. But now let's take a look at Bitcoin, XRP, and then also we need to take a look at Genesis because of what's happening in this morning. Pay very close attention if you're on Genesis Exchange. I keep telling you, I think it's going to be one of the next to go insolvent, the next to file bankruptcy. And I've uncovered that it's got about $1.8 billion in loans put out right now, or, you know, a savior, last saving grace, we could call it. So XRP's up 0.18% at 3906. We're still on the backside of the bear flag that we've broken out of this short-term formation that started back in early November, almost a month ago now. And we still can't get back over now that we broke outside of it. We need to get back over about 40 cents now in the current pattern. If not, this will reverse down, and it's not going to come down to about 32 cents approximately at first. First, we're going to have a couple different layers. And if we look at the perpetual futures chart, this is exactly what would be the first step. First step, actually 372 would be the first step. Right around here. This would be your first step. So our first area to come back down and retest in the area would be right here. You get something just like that. Slightly inclined. And because of where it's at, you'd get about the 375 and then down to 361 approximately. So just pay attention to these formations with XRP because it is very critical that you understand what's going on here. Right now, we need to break back off above 40 cents. If you want any kind of bullishness to try to push to the top of this, we need to hit 40, I guess right here you could say 394. Break the 394 here in the short term. But in the wider pattern, it's about 40 cents if we look at it like this. So 394 would be your first resistance, followed by 40 cents. So look at the 394, ultimately get up to 40 cents and then get on top of 404. If we break down, look at 372, 361, and ultimately coming all the way back down. If we break the, we'll say the 375, all the way back down to 36 cents, and then is where it gets very dangerous. You break 36 cents for XRP, and yes, I have a lot of different XRP charts because there's a lot of information and I need to separate the data. If you break down, you've got the 3.5, 3.61, 3.42 right here looks pretty confluent here if we were to break down. And then ultimately the 3.35 level that would keep us above. And then if we break that, the 3.15, then we can try to come back down to the 2.87 double bottom. That's what we're trying to fight back to. And as of right now, this is looking like a head and shoulders pattern. But any amount of volume, positive direction, could push us up and push us out. And if we were to push up and out, the first level that I would expect us to push up and out to would be up to this 4.35 level approximately. 4.335. And that would be the bottom of the busted bull flag. And if we were to manage to get up here and even get rejected over in here, 50 cents would be a logical rejection point. So that's a possible scenario as well. If we're looking at this morning on this Monday morning as the futures and everything is open trading. You got this. There is a possibility you could come up here to get rejected, then come down and have some kind of M reversal or topping reversal. But again, it's not necessary. We've already done this entire pattern. This is a gigantic bear flag and we need some push. Eventually, with the lack of push, you end up pushing back down. So we've got that. Now let's take one look at Bitcoin real quick through the three charts to get some confluence. We're in a rising channel, as you can see. We couldn't get over the 200-day. We're squeezed between the 200 and 20-day. And if we can push up, we need to break out over 17,556. And first push 17,912 is the first layer. Second layer would get you up to about 19,469. But there's a few things in between. Right now, as long as we stay on top of the bear flag, and that's down at 16,547, this pattern can continue to move. But anytime you hit this and break down, this is what you'd be looking at on a breakdown. So just to warn you, fair warning, keep that in the back of your head just in case it happens. And then the USDT chart, you can see this uptrending resistance line. We're still below, and this is a very critical pivot level. You remain below this, it's bearish. You get on top of it, it's bullish. You get on top of 17,662 especially, you might have a push well up. At first 18,200 level and then much further. Well, close to 20K. But if you break down, as you know, it's devastating. So before we go check the Genesis, I wanted to thank the members of Tom's Army. The 215 members of Tom's Army, yes, we lost a member, I know. But every week we gain and lose. And unfortunately, we lost more today than we've gained. So we're at 215 members, but due to the generosity and the pay it forward mentality of the 215 members of Tom's Army who spend $9.99. Yes, you get the Telegram, but that was only created because of the generous support. You also get the exclusive emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens in month 1, Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News in month 2, and so on. The importance of being part of Tom's Army and joining this growing army is so that we don't have to do any kind of paid promotions, no paid advertising. We don't have any special interest buying and paying or buying out the channel to tell me what to say so that I can make $1. I don't do that. And that's thanks to the generosity. So if you'd like to be part of that growing movement and part of the reason why I don't show any kind of paid promotions or advertising, join Tom's Army, $9.99 for the people, by the people in a self-growing community. So if you want to join BitGet, MEXC, or UPHOLD, the video description's below. But most importantly, join me in Tom's Army XRP Future Millionaire. Click that and you'll be shown how to get the exclusive membership in the Tom's Army. And then if you do, you get the exclusive Telegram, Tom's Army. You get the Futures Leverage Trading Group. You get the links, a whole bunch of other things. You get my Precious Metals Commodities Group, and those are all for free. So before we leave, hashtag the VUD stops here. Let's read this through Genesis. And again, this is sponsored by the generous members of Tom's Army, and I cannot thank each and every one of the 215 members enough who show that support. So Genesis Creditor Group's loan amount to $1.8 billion and counting sources. In addition to the previously reported group of Gemini customers owed $900 million, there are 2 other groups of Genesis creditors being represented by lawyers, CoinDesk has learned. Get your money off of Genesis now. If you're not listening, too fucking bad. Get your money off of Genesis and don't piss me off this morning. You need to get your money off of Genesis unless you want to get down the same exact road as a few of these other ones like BlockFi, like FTX, and a few others, Voyager, in the past. Pay attention to Crypto.com, Coinbase, and Binance as well. But right now we're focusing on Genesis. Customers whose money is locked up on trading and lending platform Genesis and who have taken legal advice on the matter currently account for some $1.8 billion of loans. According to a person familiar with the situation, and that number looks like it will continue to grow. The FT had recently reported that a group of customers using cryptocurrency exchange Gemini's Earn program, which is tied to Genesis, were owed $900 million after Genesis lending unit halted customer withdrawals on November 16th. A second group of assorted Genesis creditors, and I warned before November 16th to get your money out of Genesis, well before that. With loans also amounting to $900 million, it is being represented by law firm Proskauer Rose, a second source told CoinDesk. The Proskauer Group takes the tally to $1.8 billion, with more to come in the form of Third and Hock Group being represented by Kirkland and Ellis. The law firm representing bankrupt crypto firms Celsius and Voyager Digital. Both I warned you to get out of before they went bankrupt. The second source said the amount of loans this third group is owed is not known. In addition, the Gemini Customers Group is being represented by the law firm Latham and Watkins, the second source said. In a letter to investors on November 23rd, Genesis said it had begun discussions with potential investors and our largest creditors and borrowers, including Gemini and DCG Digital Currency Group, to grant a solution that shores up our lending business overall liquidity and addresses clients' needs. That's all bullshit. Genesis declined to comment on this story. Proskauer, Rose, Latham, and Watkins, and Kirkland and Ellis did not respond to the request for comment by press time. So that's what's going on with Genesis. And if you're not paying attention to what's going on with Genesis, you're getting left out in the cold, because it's not just Genesis, but this is the next one that's going to bend you over.